4x4Xplore offers exclusive 4x4 adventures across the globe. We've taken hundreds of people to over 30 countries on 4 continents, from the Arctic Circle in the north to the southernmost city in the world, from the base of Mount Everest to Machu Picchu high in the Andes, on safari in Africa and up into the remotest parts of Tibet. 4x4Xplore takes participants on extraordinary journeys that no one else can provide. Staying in the best accommodation available and with medical and mechanical support on hand, 4x4Xplore allows you to travel through some of the world's most stunning landscapes, all in your own 4x4, which we transport to and from the events. For you to learn more about 4x4Xplore's unique adventures, we are going to hear from the people who have taken part.
Well, I've had the pleasure of being on all 5 long-distance events. The first took place in 1998. It's London and Cape Town, and so I bought a 8-year-old Toyota Land Cruiser, and it was absolutely ideal for the trip. It became addictive after a while. You wondered what wonderful new sights you were going to see that day. At the end of it all, people who'd been on it were so enthusiastic that they said, well, hey, let's do another one, and what about South America? I mean, Rio, great city of the world, and it was a good place to start and finish. Copacabana Beach was an interesting experience. The bits that stick out, I think, to me particularly, were going through Bolivia, which was fascinating and very primitive. But then Lake Titicaca and Machu Picchu and on into Peru were all very interesting. The highlight, I think, was southern Chile, particularly the Puerto Marina Glacier, which I think must be one of the great sights of the world. And then the mountains further down, Torres Plaines, I think, right down into Tierra del Fuego and Ushuaia, the southernmost city of the world, which is just wonderfully remote down there. Buenos Aires, again, we saw a bit of, and I think that's a fine city. But of all the countries, I enjoyed Chile the most, and I think it had the nicest sort of environment and atmosphere. It was, and it seemed to be well run. So it was very successful from the 4x4 trip. The shortest of the 5 was the Arctic Winter Trial. It was only 2 weeks, done in March. So there was a lot of ice and snow still in the Scandinavian territories. And that was the attraction here, was that it was giving you an experience of driving in ice and snow and seeing all the Norwegian fjords, the ice hotels. We had a great fun day on going with dogs and skidoos and so on. But that was a great trip. I would never have got to North Cape or into Finland and northern Finland other than on a trip like this. I think that for me the most interesting part of the China trip was the warriors at Xi'an and Pingyao, the old city. First sight of Everest at sunrise, never to be forgotten. There were about 7 days that we were driving through fascinating scenery. Tiger Leaping Gorge was just a wonderful experience. Lovely. Lhasa and Shigatse, the 2 cities in Tibet, very interesting. It was just an amazing experience to be able to get to the places that we did and see this huge contrast that you find in China, where at one level you have almost biblical scenes in the countryside, and then you have a huge amount of construction going on all over the place to really compare with the building of the Great Wall, if you like. the Southern African Rally last July of 2005, to me was one of the most enjoyable, wonderful 4x4 driving experience. In fact, I think that part of the world may become a sort of 4x4 playground. A very fine camp outside the Kruger, which we stayed in, Selby, which must be really one of the nicest of the private game parks in that area, where we were very well looked after and saw some Big Five and lots of interesting game, and a very high standard of the guides who took one around and so on. So that was good. And we thankfully had time to stop off at the Okavango Delta, and that was a great day, just going through this huge inland delta on the Mokoros, the dugout canoes, and being able to see game from the canoes and from the islands was a great experience. So very, very successful trip, which was, I think, enjoyed by everybody who was on it. Really. It was a very successful one.